This is the little doll that I picked up from the thrift store. She was a strawberry shortcake doll from the 70s, and I picked her up because I thought she would make a great counterpart to Mandy. My original thought for her was that she would be the opposite of Mandy, where Mandy's kind of dark. She would be really like happy and bright. This is the only clip I have of them next to each other because Mandy actually sold on Etsy. I was super excited about that. This was right before she got shipped off. The very first thing I did was remove her face with acetone. Part of her eyes stained her vinyl and it never fully came off, but I painted over it so it ended up being fine. But this is when I realized just how dirty and disgusting she is. Look at how much grime came off her face. So I went ahead and just gave her whole body a wash because I couldn't believe that I had been touching that 70s era filth. I chopped off all her hair. Sorry for the shakiness. I had my camera on my knees. I took her head off of her body, and I thought that because her head was so much squishier and more flexible than Mandy's was, that it would be easy to get the hair out of the plugs, but it was nearly impossible. So I actually went through and poked it into her head. I couldn't get all of it, like around her middle part, but that method seemed to work fine, so I stuck with it. And then I filled in the little extra baldy spots and the paint I had on hand actually matched her original paint job perfectly. I also moved her hairline forward because, girl, you had a 5 head. Found this yarn at Walmart and plugged it into her head after separating it into little strands. I set it with tacky glue and then tied it back to spray her face with Mr. Super Clear and start the face up. I started with chalk pastel blush, and after that I actually only used acrylic paint. Honestly, I think I was just being really lazy and didn't want to deal with all the layers. For her clothes, I just cut out some old fabric I had and sewed it directly to her body. You can see here that before I sewed on the sweater, I used fabric paint to mimic stitches and patches on her elbows. I also used a little bunny sticker that I glued on to be a patch on her sweater. I trimmed her bangs and I tried to get them to lay flat with a heated knife, but it didn't work and I just gave up. Then I put in these little beads. I strung 2 of these stars on a strand of yarn that matched her hair and just tied them into her pigtails so they were hidden. Here I'm just showing you her shoes. What I did was mold some epoxy sculpt on the bottom of her soles and paint around them to kind of look like Converse. And here she is all done. I think she turned out pretty cute. She's definitely not my usual style. My usual style is more like Mandy, a little bit darker, so it's interesting that she's so light and that she kind of matches this pony that I made, my very first customized pony. I don't have the footage for that one, sorry, but they're both for sale. I will list them on my Etsy, which will be in the description. And thanks so much for watching. I hope you like it.